Hello there, GM Lurchington here with another episode of Star Wars Showdown on Iceball Station. With me as usual are our players and their characters. The Bendu as Narset Jinn.
Hello, friends.
Dan as Captain Worram of Ithor.
Hey.
David as Master Xavix Silverstar.
Hey, guys.
And as usual our host Kyle as Zeef.
Hello there.
Gentlemen, if you're ready to see if the Force is with us, let's roll Destiny. 2 light from Worram, 1 dark from Xavix, Zeef coming in with a dark, balancing it out, and me rolling for Narset with 2 more dark.
Aw, man.
2 lights and 4 dark.
Seems to be a theme with these sessions.
Yeah.
It's almost October.
Is it going to get spooky here?
Last night, we closed out with your characters having a bit of a soiree in the Silverstar suite. The last thing the camera saw was Zeef doing a Gungan tongue trick across the sitting room floor in the direction of the ISB officer. He was very impressive, but strained himself just enough to pass out for the rest of the evening. He now wakes askew on a plush, red, hide-upholstered chair in the paneled smoking room of the Silverstar suite. Stomper is in low power mode nearby and stands up with a gentle gonk as you stir. He brings the lights in the room up to half. You see that there's a lot of beautiful foliage in here. You smell the liveliness of the plants. You realize that even though you're diagonal on a deep armchair, it was more comfortable than your own bed, and you wake refreshed, Zeef.
Nice.
As you get your bearings and head out into the main room of the suite, through the door, you see off to your left a kitchenette and a long table, and then out through the windows, you see a jungle on the far side of a balcony rail. As you look right, you see that the rest of the guests who were here the evening before have left. You make your way into the center of the suite, and you see out through the glass onto the balcony that Worram is comfortably seated in a large, bowl-shaped chair, surrounded by plant life and backed by a jungle that you don't remember being on Iceball. You didn't even drink last night, so you're pretty sure you didn't leave the planet. The Jedi are not around at the moment. And I'll turn things over to you and Worram until we spy out Master Silverstar in a moment.
Do I have to do a roll to tell that it's holographic, or does Zeef just genuinely not know?
Once you get out there, it's obvious, because even though there's humidity and sound and whatnot, like, it's...
Okay.
There's no smell and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, it's only engaging 3 of your 5 senses. It's not that good of a simulation.
Sure,
you know
you can tell, yeah.
This isn't the holodeck, yeah.
Exactly.
Right, and you did, you saw him, as you said, you saw him fiddling with it last night. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Worram looked to be in an extremely comfortable position. But as his eyes open, as you make your way out through the doors, you can see a little bit of that distress from earlier in the day, yesterday, has crept back in, despite his pleasant surroundings.
So happy for Worram.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the camera's on you guys now.
I think that Zeef would wander over to the kitchenette and fill up 2 cups of calf, and then come back over, extending one to Worram while sipping on the other one himself. Just sort of as a non-verbal good morning gesture, you know.
So, Worram will take the calf from him gratefully. Yeah, he's probably been up for a little while, just kind of, taking it in, I think, just kind of trying to remember being on Ithor and, the surroundings of his home, prior to its destruction. So, he's under no illusions that he's not home anymore, but yeah, he's just kind of reluctant to leave this comfortable,
Sure,
surroundings.
you're sitting in a holographic projection of an authentic Ithorian rainforest right
best
now.
he's felt in months. Why would he want to leave?
Yeah.
So he's grateful, but he's not really eager to go.
Taciturn. Okay. Master Silverstar. I don't know how you've begun your morning.
Yep.
So yeah, I would have waken up. I would have probably walked to the bathroom while enjoying the kind of cold atmosphere I would have in my room. It would be, that kind of Pantoran, kind of a little bit more chilled. I'd walk up to the sink and wash myself, or go to the refresher, refresh myself, and then I would probably exit my room and see if who's else is like inside the suite. Probably have a cup of caf as well.
Sure. Zeef and Worram are out on your balcony. Everyone else left the evening before.
Since I see them both outside, I would definitely go outside to go greet them. But then the first thing I would kind of say is, did you guys enjoy your evening last night?
Oh yeah, very pleasant evening. Thank you for having us over.
It's the most comfortable I've felt in months.
Well, I'm glad that you can enjoy the hospitality here. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of work to get done in the area. If I could still pick your brain on some of your contacts this morning.
Absolutely. It's nice to get wined and dined before we get put to work by a client for once.
I turn over to the bot that I have over there and tell her to get some refreshments, some morning foods and stuff like that. And I have a seat in front of the fire pit and make myself comfortable.
She'll be a few moments preparing that, and you guys can discuss the preliminaries of the race setup. The evening before, you had gotten your new allies here on Iceball together before your other guests arrived and informed them that you were responsible for getting this race set up. And Worram had said he would fly a ship in it. Mm-hmm. Kolvar was excited to hear that, less so to hear that Worram does not have a racer of his own. And you went down your list of things that need to get done, which we can abbreviate. The huts need to be contacted because trying to put on an event of this size on a world that they consider in their control without their permission would be suicidal, frankly. And they might just give you resources towards it if you ask them correctly. And they might provide a pilot to race in it because they'll want some skin in it. And that'll handle your third racer of the 3 to 4 racers you need. That's item 1, and it's sort of subticks of the hut side of it. On setting up the race itself, you need to deal with the race ring. They might not be operational. Once they are, you need to plot out a course and then get the rings set up. Once that's done, you need to also deal with the administration part of it. You need 3 racers. You've got 2 right now. They need 3 ships. You've got 1 right now. You need a prize for those racers. And then you need people to come and actually watch your race so that the people putting it on can profit off of it. Because so far, everything that's been mentioned is a money out. And it's only the people who are going to view and bet on this race who are going to be the money in part of this equation. So that's the last part of it. So you need to deal with the huts, and you need to deal with the mechanics of setting up the race, and you need to deal with the admin side of setting up the race. So you've got 2 weeks to do that, and you also know that Kintera, the archaeologist, wants to leave with you on an at least 2-day expedition up the volcano and across some ice fields, starting in a couple hours.
Oh, it's 2 days? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she wants to go out, spend at least the night, maybe another day out there exploring, and then come back. Because usually she goes out there and has to come back because there's beasties. But if she's got 2 Jedi, she can do more than she hasn't fully explored this place. It's dangerous up there. You know, she's hoping that she can, get something out of this herself. Like, oh, shit, yeah, no. Did you see how they handled those droids? They can handle the saber-toothed ice apes better than these climbing crabs can. Yeah, I'm going to get something out of this. I'm going to take them on an expedition and go expedite my expedition.
So I think what I'll do when the bot comes back with the refreshments, put them on the table there. First settle up the debts that I owe with Zeef and Worram. It's been another day now, and so I've got to get them their pay. I forgot what it was per day.
You paid them 500.
Well, I know it was 1,500 initially, for the retainer, but I don't know if we ever did per diem. Price,
I don't recall how much exactly it was.
Was it 50?
I don't know, probably 500 or something.
I think it was 500.
500 a day. That sounds reasonable. I would think.
Work.
Yeah, I mean, are you trying to pay us a little more to extend the retainer? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm going to need to extend the retainer because I need someone who can contact the huts. I've got to leave for a couple days on an expedition, but if I can retain your help in that, it'd be worth the coin or the credits.
Thanking you so very much for the credits. We shall help however we can.
Then in that case, I need to hop by a store and then meet up with Narset if you guys wouldn't mind giving me a ride.
Okie day, that can be done.
We can do that.
Fantastic.
All right, after you guys have a brief repast, assuring that your strain is topped up for the day, this bot-cooked meal doesn't afford you any sort of bonus like a home-cooked one might, but it's filling. And it is perfectly tailored to each of your 3 appetites, as would be defined by like a 2-star culinary specialist.
Nice.
You head out down through
The droid whipped me up some slimy fungus.
well-appointed
Is that what Gunga
corridors.
Makes sense.
Brisky morning munchin'.
The turbolift has a bit of a hitch in its giddy up this morning, and when it comes to rest on the main floor, there are 2 of the 4-foot-tall turtle men with their overalls and a toolbox waiting to climb on when you disembark. Your vehicle was unmolested in the night as you head out into the cold morning air, and you drive what would only be a 15-minute walk down the road to drop Xavix off in front of the stores before heading off, presumably back to the...
Well, we would have dropped him off at Birdie's, right? Because he was going to see Narset.
Well, he said he needed to go to the
Needed to
stores
buy
and then meet up with
okay.
Narset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those 2 locations are like 30, 100
Okay.
meters apart anyway. So
Sure.
it's not a big town. You guys are driving across like 5 blocks at most whenever you guys
Like,
go to the casino or anywhere else from it.
Those references.
It's not far. Yeah.
Okay.
You head off up the side street towards the
On slide
detective
7.
agency. You've been dropped here in the lower square, as it's called, Xavix, with the guns and armor shop with Droid Smith and the healer there right off the square.
Definitely go into the store that I went into the time before so I can pay off that debt that I have.
At the pawn shop. Okay, so you head down the road a bit, actually, and dip into the pawn shop where the Doug proprietor, behind the low counter at the back, looks up at you and says, "Oh, you're back. Good. Well, yes, I don't know. That jacket does look mighty fine. You sure I can't take that off your hands?"
No, I'd like that back. Thank you.
All right, then. So to settle up, the armor was...
$22.50. So you're paying it off now? Okay.
Yes.
I told you all those credits weren't last.
Nope.
Lando's jacket's gonna look sick over that armor, though.
Oh, yes, it will.
Mhm. That's
Dude,
the idea. You
yeah.
look fly, dude.
Word. I like it.
Oh, it's great, man.
I tell the guy, thank you for doing business. I appreciate, having it be on such short terms and being so lenient. Maybe we can do business in the future. Am I able to add this to my armor, or do I have to work on it at all?
The jacket, you can
Mhm.
just... you're not... Are you wearing the armor? Did you bring that along in the bag that you had stowed it in?
I would assume that along with my pup
The
tent,
tent
and my
and the fusion lantern
fusion
are all
lantern
stored.
are all stored at this suite.
Yes, exactly. So if you want to have the armor along with you, you can. Otherwise,
I think having armor
it's
with me
wherever is
like,
more
on this
convenient.
expedition is probably a good idea. So
Yeah.
I would like to go back. I guess put the armor on if I can, or do I need to get it repaired first?
It was still damaged a step. If you want to go across and get that fixed, it's like 500 credits to get that done, was what the guy quoted you.
Okay.
And you couldn't cover half of it, so he wasn't going to do the work on spec.
All right. Well, then I'll definitely do that.
All right, excellent. He is a short human gentleman, and he goes, "The 2 of you are keeping me busy," as you enter offhand, in reference to the fact that both you and Narset were already in yesterday. He says, "Back for me to work on that armor again."
I guess, yeah. Definitely wanted to be in working order.
Says, "And you can pay this time."
Absolutely.
Right? He accepts it over the counter. He goes, "I'll need to heat up some of this laminate and reform it where these gouges are." He holds the breastplate up towards your torso. He says, "I can recurve this a little. You aren't as broad as whoever wore this. Most of the rest of it is adjustable." He asks you to put on the arm and leg pieces of the armor over whatever clothing you're going to be wearing under it so he can check the fit and then decides that he's going to reform the legs as well.
You should
He
roll
says,
to see
unless
how he
you're
measures
planning
the
on doing a
inseam.
lot of squats, I'm going to trust these too. And then he takes it back and says, this will be a few hours, but I can have it done by the end of the day. I don't have anything else planned.
Okay, that would be perfect. Thank you.
He says, that'll be $225 now, or $250 now, and the same again when you pick it up, or all of it now. It's up to you.
I'll do half now, half later. That seems appropriate.
He accepts the credits, brings your armor to the back of the shop, and then turns on some machines to warm up, and then stays. The inside of the shop is being heated by several thermal lanterns. He has suits of armor, a lot of spears and blaster spears, and some other long rifles along one wall, selection of munitions and blaster pistols, as well as some other esoteric arms as you look around during the transaction.
Yeah, nothing I want to get right now.
He doesn't overtly begin working on it at all. The
Well, that's
machines
fine.
will take a while to warm up.
Yeah, I think it's time to leave there as well.
All right. Yeah. Birdie's is just down the street. You see that the market is operating inside the market building as you pass by it. And then inside Birdie's, she's got half a dozen gentlemen breaking their fast downstairs at the table. Yeah, it's fairly busy this morning. Narset, where are you when Xavix comes in?
We'll assume. Well, like I said, so we'll redo that crafting skill just to
Sure.
make sure like my thing looks better, and then we'll just assume that
What is your mechanic skill?
3 green.
Tools and with no success and 2 advantage. Well, it was done fine. It just didn't look very good. You don't succeed at making it look any better. You reinforce some of the areas where you had skipped stitches, but it's still, it looks like somebody who had an idea of what they wanted to do but wasn't necessarily good at what they were doing, did it until it was good enough to be done. But it don't look pretty, but it's done. You know, like you sure sewed this leather padded armor onto your robes real good, Noah said. It's
Damn
sewed
it.
on there.
You're in the territory of I see what you were going for.
Right, but it's not pretty, and you did not succeed now at making it look better at all
That's
either.
shitty.
No.
You need to take
You
it to
know,
one of these vendors in town. Get them to do it.
It's a little too late
But
now.
we're
He's
literally leaving.
butchered this.
No, I know, but I mean,
Well,
like when you
it's gonna
return
be-
to town, you might be able to do that for a future endeavor.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a couple hours because he's still got to get his armor back, assuming he's taking it with him, right?
Now, does this the armor thing that I did, does that affect the Lando jacket I got?
I mean, you're just gonna. So
Using it,
the
you're just-
game.
You can just wear it over top of it.
Exactly.
Narset, are you still wearing a very ostentatious fur coat over your robes as well,
That's what I was thinking.
or at
about.
least like carrying it around with you?
Like, do I want to fucking wear this shit? Actually, no, I don't. I have a fucking idea. Okay. So, I failed at sewing my shit, right?
Yes.
So, we'll just assume that I was in one of the empty bedrooms.
One of Birdie's rooms upstairs.
So I go downstairs to talk to Birdie, and I like sit down at the bar at where she's at. And you said it's still kind of early morning, so
Right. This is before Xavix has come in. She's serving the first couple of customers who
yeah.
are in here. She gets you a glass of water because you didn't have calf the morning before, and asks what you want to eat, and then lets you mull over your thoughts.
So I immediately look over to her and like sincerely thank her for letting me stay the night when she didn't have to. Unfortunately, like I don't have a whole lot of credits at the moment. Actually, I just straight up tell her I only have 9 credits at the moment because of buying the leather armor.
She looks at you with mild disapproval, and she goes,
Perhaps you shouldn't have been as free with them as you were yesterday. I certainly saw you buying a lot of drinks for gentlemen who neither paid you any attention nor anything.
I spent all my money on my armor because I'm supposed to go on this 2-day expedition to the volcano.
she says,
Well, then it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like the money you spent on yourself was a waste. But again, you were throwing other credits around quite liberally, at least in here. And I did hear some things from the Xavix as well.
She bends forward and she goes,
Sweetheart, we work hard here, but we're making a living.
Oh.
You don't have to act like we need your charity.
and she straightens up and she goes,
Now, what kind of charity do you need from me, man?
Nice.
Aside from my roof over your head.
she looks at your armor and she goes,
A few of these hands know how to wield a needle and thread.
That would be fantastic. I was actually gonna ask for maybe some like beef jerky or some sort of snack for our 2-day venture. I was gonna ask if I could ask your prep cook.
She goes,
You may.
So yesterday I went to go visit Crab Drogo with this archaeologist, and I noticed throughout their tents and a lot of the larger warriors were wearing these really thick leather pieces. Rather than taking this big fluffy thing to a frozen volcano, I was hoping to get some highly insulated whale blubber.
Crab leather.
Or
she looks at the coat. She goes,
That does look terribly warm.
she goes,
But
it would catch on fire.
if you'd rather wear the leather, I suppose you'd have to hunt a ravner.
she shrugged. She goes,
Generally, as soon as they bring in a kill, all the parts of it are used. They don't have a lot of excess just sitting around. I don't know if there's a hunt scheduled.
she goes into the kitchen and you briefly hear a conversation that sounds like a couple of people having a walnut cracking contest. And then she comes back out and she goes,
They're going to have another hunt for at least a week, and you would need a lot of favor with the king to be able to get some hide. Usually they already know what they're going to be using it for before they butcher the raven. There are tents to repair, things like that.
she goes,
You're kind of a stranger here, honey.
Gotcha.
A stranger who had deep pockets yesterday.
I mean, I know, like, I started... Let's break this down real quick. How much, like, I started with only, like, what, 900?
she goes,
Then now you have 9.
No, I started with 325. I started super low. I didn't have much money.
goes,
But you were acting like you're
yeah,
paying
buying people drinks that you didn't even know and giving
Because they were
credits
the
to
locals.
randos and sure,
Can
of course. But now you're that person who's going around buying people drinks, right? But well, she didn't buy me a drink.
That was one time.
Screw her.
I tipped 30.
She's just trying to make you aware of this situation. She's not saying this like to censure or judge you. She just wants you to be aware of sort of the vibe you were giving off yesterday. She goes,
Perhaps once the tribe gets to know you, they would. Or if you sought to be included in the hunt.
she goes,
Even with the armor, you don't look like that much of a warrior. No offense, dear.
None taken.
Just a
she goes,
thought.
or
but
maybe
if
you could trade your fur coat for one.
It's technically not my jacket, so it's not my place to give it away.
She says,
Well then, I don't know what to tell you, honey. I'm all out of charity.
Tis fine, understandable. If I could ask your cook assistant one further question before my leaving. The tribe crab leader mentioned that there were 2 tribes. I was curious as to how far away and how to travel to the next bay to visit the next group of crab people.
she says,
They're all the way across the bay, around the point. You could go overland or take a skimmer across the ice. It would be dangerous either way. You definitely need a guide.
Are they just as outputting to outsiders?
I have no idea, honey. There's some bad blood between Crab Drogo and the leader over there, and that's all I know about it.
Truly. Well, thank you again for letting me stay the night, and for the beef jerky. Hopefully I won't die in this next 2 days, and I will see you again.
confident.
Xavix comes in.
Master Silverstar, how are you this morning?
Good morning. Doing well. Ready to leave on our excursion today?
I am. I'm a little surprised to see you. I wasn't sure if you were going as well, or if you were more preoccupied with the 2-week race that's about to be done, or needing to be done. Also, I didn't quite realize that it was 2 days long, so I was a little caught off guard by that. Hence, I have beef jerky.
Are you saying that you can handle this this expedition on your own?
I mean, the way it was initially described to me seemed more of a field trip, but not forgetting that the volcano was a key point in one of the visions. It does seem to be like, see, I don't know. I'm having slight mixed feelings on the situation.
Well, what does the Force tell you to do?
What is the Force telling you to do?
Force is telling me to finish up this race.
Then let us do that for now. I'll try to play this as more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance, I was about to say.
Yeah. I'll just go in, try to take a look at what's going on environmentally, and go from there.
That sounds good. Are Zeef and Worm still with us?
They had.
I saw them, they were with you. All three of you were.
We dropped you off and then probably went back to to Zeef's place, I imagine.
They're just a couple of blocks away.
Yeah, so I believe I'll stay here and work on the things I need to take care of. I've only got a limited time to take care of it, and I feel it's going to take a long time. So I'll stay back in town if you want to join her still.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All right. We leave the Jedi there as Xavix steps back out into the street with Narset. So I guess both of you are still going up to the casino anyway, because that's where she'll be leaving from. We then follow Zeef's speeder and headed up towards his detective agency, but then remembering that he's got something else on the back burner, had Worram speed right past. The speeder heads down through town and over to the commissary, where Zeef scurries around back. He comes back to the speeder with a box of stinking offal, which Worram directs him to place on the back deck and not bring into the cabin.
Don't mess up my interior.
Okay.
The speeder heads down through the archway into Crabtown, the repulsor coils barely disturbing the carefully set pebbles of the paths here, out to the Crabtown docks. At the smallest docks, where Zeef is paying a fee to use some space, there's a rusting, held together with wine and prayer, skiff bobbing next to the dock. There's a spear resting against one of the railing, and a red stain on the deck where previous stinking boxes of offal have rested. This is Zeef's little side project. Worram, you still don't see the true wisdom behind it. So as usual, Zeef has to begin by convincing you once again that this is worth doing at all.
Have you even seen anything doing all, like eating any of the stuff you've been dumping in here for the past 3 weeks?
Trust
How do you
Misa.
know something?
Misa
How do you
got
know
a
anything
feeling.
down there.
Misa always be knowing when something be in the water. It's a Gungan thing. Misa always know. Misa been working on a contingency plan for a couple months now, and now Misa thinking this might be coming handy with the Diza Karo problem as well. So have a little faith, my friend. All right.
Let's get a hard difficulty piloting planetary to get this thing. I mean, it's floating there. The repulsor coils are, kept tuned up. Most of them running, stuff. You never see a speeder not floating in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But, to get that to go from idle to, go, it's going to take a check here to, make sure that you don't, hit the throttle too high too fast and blow it out because it's too cold. You got to be gingerly and, have some skill at piloting it here to begin with. Well, with 3 successes, it fires up smoothly with no backfires.
Nice.
At all. I guess coming out here every couple of days, I've really gotten this motor used to operating again. It stalled out twice the first trip you took out on the ice, Zeef. You didn't even have Worram in your life at that point. It was fairly terrifying.
How did you even manage?
Probably swam back.
Stomper helped out. Across the ice. Just doing the breaststroke across the ice.
Just like a true Gungan. Just
swimming across the
do
surface of the ice.
Do the penguin glide. Running glide.
If it works, man.
Misa really flying!
Very aerodynamic, if you know what I mean.
That's true. No hair.
The ears to steer. Alright, so you head out across the frozen bay. There are dangers out here, lurking under the ice. Ships coming in and out of the landing fields, both in the city and at the platform where they pick up fuel from the factory, often dump refuse here to cut weight when they're coming in for landings. All of this waste on the sea ice has attracted large omnivorous beasts known as ravnaks to the area. The crabs have hunted these for generations, but now that their ecosystem has been altered by civilization, there are more, and they're more used to feeding on whatever they can instead of following the herds of sea creatures and the seasons. So, as you make your way out towards the mouth of the bay, towards where the bay ice starts to break up in the sea currents into the open water where Zeef has been dumping his chum for weeks now, let's get, as I flip a destiny point and get those moving, a check to get across here. I would say survival, yeah, because you're trying to plot a course, and it's not just the flying. Because I want to get these destiny
We
points
make that
moving.
Is this my check or his check?
Combined check?
Absolutely, if you can, yeah, because you've got Zeef up ahead, looking out for you. You're moving at a clip, and the ice is thick.
So this is to get
plot a
safely
course
to the
edge
place where
of the bay, not to the dumping spot, to the edge of the bay where the ice starts to break up, and then you have to head out across the open water to the chumming spot. This is just to get to the edge of the bay over that ice.
Okay.
It's all good. It's not like there's a
So
whole bunch of
in the
monster
wrong,
food in our
you
boat
rolled
or
in the
anything.
wrong
I did. Yes,
So
I did.
you're all right there. You did. So successfully and with advantage, Worram skirts around the largest dumping zones and goes safely over some thicker ice to the edge of the bay. Here, with the points of land closing around the bay where the city at the foot of the volcano is located, the ice begins to break up as the sea currents moving between the endless archipelago of Iceball keeps the water flowing. You see large chunks of ice cascading by, building size, starship size in the water. Between the water itself is fairly thick with smaller ice as well. But you know that out there is an eerily clear spot that you had found where the ice does not flow, and it has been in the center of this spot that you've been dumping your chum for 3 weeks now, Zeef. But Worram has to find it again and avoid predators. But also he has to pilot between the icebergs here. So it is going to be a piloting check.
One advantage, so
you
failed.
You do not disastrously fail, but there's a lot of ice moving this morning, and as you try to make your way through it, you find that you end up going a lot more laterally along with the ice flow or against it, instead of making your way, past it to the clearing on the other, the clear area on the other side. So you're basically not much further beyond the mouth of the bay after your first attempt to get through here, and you end up, with an advantage, but no success at actually getting through to where you're trying to locate. You've gone through the ice, but not gotten to where you're trying to go. You haven't found that, eerily clear spot in the ice. It's unmistakable. It's enormous. You could land a star cruiser, and float it there, and the iceberg wouldn't touch it on either side.
Okay.
Zeef turns around from the front of the boat and kind of remarks on the results of the check, and it's like, the ice is intense today, to Worram.
Yeah, it's tricky out here.
Do you have some perception or something that you could use to make a check and help him out?
Yeah, that's
Zeef?
a great idea.
I don't know what your build is. Some survival, some perception.
I'm going to go with perception.
Probably.
I think that I got the best chances there. So yeah, Zeef's going to do a perception check to try and
It's going to be
enhance Worm's ability to pilot this
Kinda.
thing.
Yeah.
And are you just giving me a boost, just like a general boost?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
giving you a blue.
Yeah.
You can give him 2 because you can assist him, Worram, and give him 1 from your previous check if you want. So go ahead and take
sure.
2 boosts, Zeef,
Sweet. All right, and I'm rolling.
and succeed. Damn it! Hey, the player characters succeed.
Yes.
And Zeef goes, it's over there. and points.
Looky, looky, Worram. Misa seeing the ice clearing up ahead. It's over there.
A red-purple piloting check to get over there.
2 success.
All right. You manage to navigate your way through the ice flow into this expanse of eerily clear, still water. It is still surrounded on all sides by massive icebergs gliding past, parting to give the area birth almost, and then coming together again on the far side. The area, as I said before, will be large enough to float Star Destroyer without the ice touching. And it's here in the middle that you stop. Zeef, you need to make the survival check all by yourself.
Gotcha.
To continue with your friend-making process here. All right, so successfully you dump all of these fish guts into the water. You watch them float on the surface and then drift down. But somehow, in your Gungan heart, over there in the third ventricle, you just know that you've done right. At that point, however, the repulsor engine on the skiff gives a tremendous cough as it takes 4 system strain and drops into the middle of the water.
Oh no!
Wait, the engine fell off?
No. The skiff dropped into the water and floats
The engine
in
died,
the middle
basically.
of this calm area, however, surrounded by enormous icebergs, cruising past at a fast clip on each side that you're definitely not going to be able to paddle this canoe through back to the ice. And once you do, dragging it back to the dock, it's going to attract every Ravnak in the bay. So, right now, you guys are...
Worram kind of is like, oh, Criff, and just like goes back, because he's been up front kind of piloting it, and so he heads to the back of the skiff and just kind of just starts, takes the cover off the engine and just starts
working as the camera pulls away from you guys.
Just not working yet, but just like
just taking
a look at what happened.
What is this? Yeah.
What's going on? What's gone wrong now?
Mm-hmm. And Zeef is standing there at the rail with that Gungan.
Zeef was bent over the rail emptying the bucket when the engine cut out, and so he almost got a face full of icy water, and he's just like, whoa, at the last second it got back on the dock. So he's kind of like, what the fuck, Worram? Oh, I see what happened. Okay, shit.
Yeah. And then the camera is going to leave you guys there.